I have new goals this week, you guys. I just finished talking all day at our MEfirst event, and I did a little goal setting myself. So today we're going to get into that, what I think's been stopping me, and how I'm getting to this next 24 pounds down and moving my income to months to replace my corporate income, right? Because we're on this path of financial freedom from all things, my body, finances, weight, wealth, relationships, like finding freedom and joy in all I'm here to do. So let's get into it. Welcome back. Mid Midlife Badassery Podcast here, and we are in season 4, and this season of my life has been most interesting indeed. I had a little jaunt back to corporate America, as some of you have known, and made the decision in October to come back to doing my business full time and really doing what lights me up, which is a lot of this, right? And getting together with other women where we're dreaming and daring to step into what's uncomfortable, because it's uncomfortable as we set goals for ourselves and step into these new versions. And what does it look like? And just like I did with my weight loss journey back in 2018, being fully transparent about everything. And I've decided I came out of my goals. Now I need to make these a little bit broader this time, but let's start with the weight loss goal. And then I'm going to get into the business stuff in a little bit and YouTube and what I'm planning to do here with this and growth here. Now that I'm showing up as badass Brookster, as you can see from my lair here, if you are listening on audio, I'm sitting in my virtual sky layer of Brookster, my alter ego, and she is the one I activate, the persona of me that I activate that shows up and gets the shit done, that moves the needle, because I can tend to want to stay in the zone of just having fun a lot. And I think I can bring a lot to me from being in joy and fun, but I also think there's a different way I show up when I hold the capacity for myself that steps into this next level of wealth, of health, of understanding my vibration on this planet more. And as I'm helping more and more women, my capacity to hold the space for that changes. I change, right? The rooms change, everything changes. And how do you continue that transformation vibration on a one-to-one basis as you grow into groups and grow larger and larger, and it becomes more like a movement? There's a whole slew of you badasses making changes together, right? It's a different energy. It's a different place. It's a different container. And that's what I'm building right now, in addition to losing 100 pounds again. So when I moved back here, went back to corporate America, and really tried to just get my health in alignment, not just weight, right? I had a lot of other health issues going on. And now I'm actually healing this from frequency and vibration. So I've been doing hypnosis, you guys, around allergies. I've been tapping. I've been really watching keeping my body thermostat in homeostasis more. And how can I do that and also achieve and activate Brookster, who's this high achieving part of me, and be in balance? And what does that look like? How do I schedule that? How do I show up for that? So this all was like just pouring out of my head today as we did visioning and planning. And it was fun to see everybody have their moments. And there's something, like, we think we know what we want. And when you dare to sit and plot and plan and write it out and get really clear, it changes the game. We all know this is the first principle of manifestation. And if you don't, now you do. Welcome to the show. Is to get really clear. Like, if the universe is bringing us whatever we want, if we go to good old law of attraction and whatever we desire is brought back to us, then if you're not clear about what you desire, and if you're walking around thinking negative things all the time or about illnesses all the time and stuff like that, you're not bringing to yourself health, wealth, abundance, freedom, all of it. So, how do we shift what we're thinking and believing on a deeper level? And how do we reprogram that? And this is the level of work I'm in right now while I'm having people come in from the standpoint of just starting to dream again. It's like there's something that happens in our lives as we're serving everyone else and showing up for everybody else but ourselves, work, kids, spouses, all of that. And that's great. I think there's a period in our life where we do serve those things a little more on some level than we do as we become empty nesters, as the world opens up and we're like, hey, what can I do with all this time and freedom I now have? What do I want to create? And to start asking ourselves these questions, and maybe even while the kids are still young, why not? I love seeing the younger women coming in my community now, identifying this already. My kids are young, but I need something for me. I need something that helps put me first in my life again. I'm losing myself. And that's what this work is, right? And it looks like I'm losing 24 pounds, but what it is what is my lifestyle? Who am I that I am 100 pounds lighter? How does she show up? And so I've been working on this new habit stack for a while in food and all of the things. But it's funny how much less food is overall an impact on my weight loss than any of the other things, than mindset, and especially my habits that I'm showing up for. So I identified I'm going to lose 24 pounds this quarter, and my quarters now are running May, June, and July. So if you're following my journey here on YouTube, we were 292 at the beginning of the year, 73 last Friday. So I just wanted to be in a whole, like 2 more decades are slayed. I thought, how cool would it be if I'm 249? So that's how we arrived at that goal. In case you're like, how'd you get that goal? How'd you pull 24 pounds out of your ass? There you go. Now you know. I just like the number. And I always call it dancing with a decade. Like I've been dancing with these 270s too long. I was telling everyone today, I'm like, no judgment to self, but I can see the little sneaks that have started to happen. The little bit later night eating, the more bread, right? And whether you eat bread or not, that's cool. Like I don't mind the bread, but like it's got gluten, it's got shit that's inflaming me. And I don't know why I got on this bread binge again. I'm just like, you don't even need it. Like when I go and I make the food that satisfies me, I'm not needing that, right? So just looking at all these little things that have crept in. And when I don't do this work, it's easy to not look at the things that have crept in, honestly. And when I have to sit down and say, okay, what's it going to take to do this? And I know you guys, the older I've gotten, and dealing with all the hormonal stuff and needing sleep and all of those things, the earlier I stop eating, the better. Have you guys found this to be true? The earlier I can cut that off. So I have a pretty firm 5 p.m. food cutoff time, and I had been exceeding that in April. And I really think a big part of it was I delayed my event, the 90-day planning, for a month because I wanted to get everything set up as I'm transitioning and moving this in a space where I can welcome more women in. And having this space open in May shifted my whole quarterly plans. And Hippie, if you're listening to those podcasts that joined on our event, she's like, but I have annual goals. Listen, don't worry. It's all going to work out. I had this 2-hour conversation with ChatGPT about how my quarters couldn't be not in like a financial corporate a quarter. And it was like, who are you talking to? I thought you made time. And I was like, F you, chat. How do you know me better than I know myself, right? So anyhow, we're starting this quarter in May. So if you're following along from this podcast to May, I weigh in every Friday and I am showing up, sharing for the week, getting on the scale and talking about everything that's come up in between. And it's from things like showing up for myself and my habits and my business and food, all of the things, right? So setting this goal, it's about exactly 2 pounds a week. We have exactly 12 weeks in this quarter and I'm ready. Now, the goal that really scares me, because weight loss doesn't scare me anymore. Been there, done that. I feel good. I feel healthy. I feel like I'm able to show up for myself again. And I wasn't in that place for a couple of years and the weight was coming back on. That's how anytime I'm out of alignment, it will manifest in weight on my body. And this is because food and eating is my emotional thing. So learning to process and feel these emotions, I've put myself in a lot of spaces with coaches this year to help support me in business and in my mindset with food and health too, right? Like I think whatever we're putting in our brains is also part of our programming. So if you want to lose weight, listening to things that support that part of your journey. And most of the times, it's not about the food you eat, like it's very, like we know how to eat. And sometimes you'll find different diets that work for you and don't, and all of that stuff. It's the mindset shit. It's the how do you sit in the emotion and not eat the emotion? Are you habit eating? Are you eating because it's at a time everybody else eats? What does that look like? I pretty much run my own schedule, but I do have things in my kitchen that I don't control, right? And I've been much better at that. But today I really made a commitment to myself that you need to make a better food plan and just honor it and show up for it. Because when I make it easy, I show up for it. I'm going to say that again for you guys in the back, those of us that don't want to plan. When you plan, you make it easy on your brain and you show up for it. And this is what all those habits of highly successful people do. They know what they're going to do in virtually every segment of their day. And they know what they're going to eat. They're not sitting there for 2 hours thinking about what they're going to eat. Either someone's doing that for them or it's already done. They probably just have the same meals, the same clothes, all the same shit. And we just keep repeating because it's simple on your brain. And then you can use that energy to create something else, right? Like, what do you want that to look like? So to get to the business goals, because this is the part that I started to tell you was a little scarier and exciting and all of that kind of stuff, because I'm scared shitless, you guys. I just quit my job and needing to, there's that need word, right? Like generating income to continue to be able to do this in my life and not be at a 9 to 5 working for someone else. What does that look like? And I have all of these things I created, all of these people I've coached, and it's like I'll have little pieces all over the place, and I know it helps women transform their lives. I got testimony upon testimony. You couldn't go find them. Actually, on this YouTube page, you could go find them if you really wanted to. But like I'm not making anything easy for people. And that was abundantly clear in everything I wrote today. Like, how do I make this easy for people to start to dream, to come to an environment, start to plan, start to create that vision of what that badass future self looks like and how you become her showing up as her, right? So I've got the alter ego community going where women come in, and right now it's free, but I think I'm going to end up having, that'll be a challenge offer or something like that down the line. So hop in if you haven't yet, because people are in there are getting the deals, right? And we're building these badass alter egos, and it's so fun. It's so engaging. And I was like, you know what? It's just all got to be fun. Of course, this is my core value. It's like my middle name, Addie Fun Beal Levinson, right? Like it's all in there, all those names and the fun. And I thought, what if I had the most fun self-improvement YouTube channel ever? And then I got looking in the school communities. I started searching by category. And this is the platform where I currently have my community on, you guys. And I love school. I'm meeting people from all over the planet and engaging and just having so much fun. And it's also a search environment of a self. I'm having so many women find me through the school app alone. And so I thought, well, I should go look at these categories and really see. And I really think I belong in spirituality more. I mean, spirituality is the dive inside yourself. I find the women coming to find me, they're here for some weight loss, a lot to build their alter ego, and all of them the woo on some level. And it was really interesting. I ran a Woo Meets Science week in our group last week. And so I try to pick a theme every week and make posts around it, and kind of fun, and expands our mind, and we learn stuff. And it was just shocking. Like, so much of the stuff I just don't even consider woo. I have to Google what is woo now. Like meditation. I don't like everyone just meditates now, don't we? But no, we don't, right? And there was a time back in 2017, I thought I was going to get pulled in a cult or something. So I'm trying to remember that part of it when I was curious, but I didn't know where to start, right? And then, do you guys remember there was this food science show in the 90s, 2000s maybe, with Eldon something? He did all this weird food science stuff, and it was always, he's like wacky and fun. I'm like, I need to do something like that. Like, we're going to get into like the brain science and habits and like all of this self-help stuff that I know moves the needle for us when we start to understand the mindset to expand ourselves and move into that next version. And how can it be so fun, right? I'm like, I need a lab coat, and I need like scientist glasses. You know what I'm saying? And like a beaker or something. I don't know. I got to come up with something super fun and have like these little different environments. And then I'm like, just like make a video and step out of your own way, because I'll like make this whole production, it'll friggin' take too long. So there's all of this going on, right? And this balance of taking my creativity and these ideas and actually putting things in action that get in the world and help people on their quest, through usually sharing my quest and just stuff I've learned that's helped me and I've seen has helped my clients, right? Like, these are the things that move the needle. These are the game changers. These are the books, like these things. So that's going to be a big focus of mine this quarter, is on YouTube, getting some more educational, like, hey, here's the top 5 things you need to know how to finish, and just like lay it down for you. Like a lot of this podcast has. If you go back to the beginning of the podcast, the whole like first 30 episodes were me trying to lay down the train tracks for the big game changers on my journey and really get into it a little bit more. And I think I need to trickle that stuff back to the top, because I think you find these things on your quest, the big leap, the artist's way, these self-development work that moves you to the next level, and then you kind of forget about it. You know, like you've been there, done that. And every time I bust it out, I'm learning something new. This quarter in our community, in the community I just opened, the paid community, we're closed right now, but we'll be open again probably toward next quarter, you guys. But I'm focusing on visualization. So you guys will get a podcast on this, I'm sure, at some point. We did this book called Visualize. I don't have it here yet. I'll show you guys next week. But oh gosh, I forget who wrote it. Maya something. And we did it in the book club bitches I'm in with Francesca Amber. And I loved the book, right? Like, I loved it, but I couldn't get the physical book. So the content, I was listening to her just podcasting about it, and I learned so much more about the different types of visualization in our brain and when to use them. So we're going to be putting this in action in our group. And I told everyone in there, I'm like, look, this is our first 90-day stretch, and we are just getting really clear about what the hell we want. And we're going to practice seeing it in our minds, and we're going to see how much faster we get to those goals and how much we show up for ourselves. And then I've got other things in place to help catch us along the way. So you guys you'll be in the know on all of this, right? So part of this was me setting a financial goal. And I saw a lot of resistance come up in my own mind around it, and wanting to be like, oh, I'm just going to measure followers. I'm just going to measure this. And this just comes from me making that data of money mean something other than what it is. And I was listening to, have you guys heard of Alex Tripod? She came in my feed, and she's this manifesting coach, whatever. And she had this exercise you do that you write down like all of these things you want, but it was more because of the value of money. It's not money itself we value, it's the experiences, like all of this that's in my lair, Edinburgh, Phoenix, like the ocean. All of these things that signify different aspects of freedom for me also equate to money, right? Like, it takes money to go have these experiences. It takes money to do these things. And how much money would financial freedom symbolize to us? Like a lot of times we get in these financial worlds and realms, and people will be like, $1 million years, $100,000 years, 250, whatever the number is, right? Is really irrelevant. What is your number to live your life according to your values and what's important? And my value of freedom and travel might not be your value. Your value might be security, being home with the family, might not look like the same type of thing. So figuring out what those values are and how it equates to a number. So back to setting the goal for my business so you guys can watch along and see how this goes, because there's a lot of fear in showing up and saying, "Hey, I'm moving my way up to get back to 10K months," right? Like from nothing, and giving myself a runway to set things up and knowing I want things a little more automated than last time. So I'm not chasing my tail, and I can really, really make impact in people's lives through content I create here, through coaching environments, through creating new, fun, interesting ways to look at ourselves and things that move the needle and help us get to that next version of ourselves. And yes, monetizing it and talking about it like I talk about my weight. Like I have no shame of getting up here and telling you I'm 273 pounds and I'm going for 249 at the end of the summer. So why, or not the end of the summer, in 90 days? Let's get that right. So why would there be any restriction around coming here and saying, okay, I'm at under less than 1,000 MRR right now and I'm moving to 10,000. And here's what I'm doing to get there, right? I'm in coaching containers. I really identified a few key things that I really need to get in place to make this shift, right? And my systems are sort of set up, but not totally. So that's part of it. And I'm in coaching environments I joined to really help support me. But now I need to step into action, you guys, right? It's just like action with weight loss. I always go back there because this is the goal I effing slayed. And I remember that feeling at the end like, oh my God, I can't believe I effing did this. And it was just one tiny little step. But you know what that action was? That action would be like stopping and making myself meditate before I went to do the next thing, even when it would have appeared to be more productive to keep working. Right? Those little shifts that put myself first show up everywhere. And it's fascinating to see this happen with what I'm creating with the business too, right? When I get up and I meditate and I yoga and I get on the treadmill, I feel so good. I produce at such a higher level all day long. And it's like, it goes back to that mantra, me first over and over again. And it goes with my business, you guys, before you go to work, before your families get you, taking care of ourselves. This is why Robin Sharma's book was a game changer too, the 5 a.m. club. Like, how do you take care of yourself first thing in the morning shows up exponentially throughout your life. And throughout all the studies around successful people, they all have these mornings where they really take care of themselves. And just think if you can design that to look however you want it to look, right? What could you create? So, okay, that's just like a little overall snapshot, you guys. But I'm also thinking I want to do a behind the scenes YouTube growth where I'm just checking in on stats. Here's what I'm doing on YouTube for the week, and do a little behind the scenes playlist. So follow along if you find that fascinating. I'm also going to keep weighing in every week. Also follow along for that. We're on this ride together, you guys. And I don't know what I'm going to find on the way, but I do know it's going to be mystical, magical, exciting, fun, inspirational, and it's going to change me in ways I can't even imagine yet. So, I'm excited to do it here with you guys, and let me know. So it's scary and it's all really big and it's exciting, and my fire's lit. My fire is lit from just daring to dream again. Right? Like it might not end up looking anything like I think it's going to look like, but the feeling of it, I know it. I know the more and more I practice being in that feeling and that emotion, the clearer I get, the more I make room for it, the more I practice becoming her, the closer and closer I get to being her. So who do you want to be? What does it look like? Where are you going? Do you have a goal? Are you scared to say your goal? Are you trying to make it all pretty because you're scared to say what? that you want what? Like, and it's got to be measurable, right? Like, how can you measure this success so you know you're going in the right direction? All right, that's my update, you guys, and I'm sticking to it. I am ending on 3:33 p.m. here in Hawaii. And I will see you next week. Take that magical number. Let's make a little wish. Abundance. Here we go. Joy, love, inspiration, all of it headed your way, my friends. And go light this world up, you badasses. Till next week. Slayer out.